Okay, so part six. I'm up to telling you about what happened with my legals. Before I do that, I just want to clarify something that I don't know if I did in part five. What I'm getting at is when I stopped being angry and when I started to be happy within myself and focus on the joy and being happy and it not being dependent upon any other circumstance or situation or person. um, it was like I gave up control. Okay. And I started to be happy unconditionally. And I started to love unconditionally. So if, for example, someone was treating me like shit in my family, instead of reacting and getting angry back at them, I started to see that maybe they're having a bad day today. So even though they've called me some, even though my son's called me some nasty names today, I choose to ignore that because I know he loves me and I love him. But I'm going to let him calm down. And when he's calm, I'm going to go back and talk to him then and see if I can help. And I'm certainly going to say to him, I don't like the way you spoke to me, but I understand that you're obviously very upset. And is there something going on? Can I help you? What can I do to help? Instead of being the disciplinarian, the authoritarian. You have some respect for your mother and don't you dare speak to me like that. And who do you think you are? And if you don't like it, you can get out. You know, there was a big change in me. And same with my partner's kids. I decided, even though the way their behaviour was, that and their level of cleanliness and tidiness wasn't up to my standard, I decided to accept them and my partner as well, just the way they were. They're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We've all got our things. I'm sure there's many things that piss them off about me. So I just came to accept that I'm just going to let them be them. Um, I'm going to expect that they follow my rules, as in um, things like no showers after 11 o'clock at night, please, because that really disturbs me in our bedroom and the noise when I'm trying to go to sleep. And I did things like my son had his bedroom uh, next to our bedroom and we shared a common wall, and he used to wake us up early in the morning, going to work, sometimes 4:30 in the morning. And my partner's daughter and her boyfriend were the complete opposite. They were up all night and she was up all night. And so they would often disturb us having a shower at 3 o'clock in the morning. And so, and I'm not sleeping because one bedroom is, or one family member is awake at night, the other one's up early in the morning, and I'm not sleeping. So I did things like when the eldest girl moved out, and I moved my son's room into hers so that the room beside our bedroom is now empty and it's quiet. So I did do things that I could do, but I could only control some things. And the biggest thing was I had to control myself, and control what was going on in my mind, because that's what I'm manifesting outside of it. So the legals. I don't know how much I've got to pay, but I know there's going to be a debt. And I'm like, I don't want to use my family settlement money. Why should I? That's not fair. And so I made a decision that, do you know what? I'm going to see if I can manifest this. And I said to my partner, I'm not going to pay a cent. I'm not going to pay any more. I've lost $120,000. I don't have a property to show for it. I'm not paying any more. And my partner said to me, I don't think that's going to be the case. And I go, yeah, I know. It's really hard to believe that, and I'm probably wrong, but I'm adamant. I'm going to do my best. I'm adamant. I shouldn't have to pay any more. And so what happened was I received an email eventually from my solicitor, and it came like 3 or 4 months later. I was waiting this long, and I was wanting to know how much it was, and then I wanted to email, and I thought, no, do you know what? I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to let the universe do its work and see what happens. So after the financial year, June 30, my solicitor emailed me, and he said, and mind you, he was a friend of my partner's, or an associate that my partner knew, and he'd already given me lots of um, um, discounts to my fees. So I was very lucky in that respect as well. I'm very grateful for that too. So he finally reaches out and he says, basically, this is what's owing. There's 180 grand owing. So that's I've paid 120. The ex-business partners paid 200, and there's about 180 grand left owing. 200, 300, 400, like that's 500 grand. 500 grand in legals. Anywho, I could have focused on that, and I could have focused on being pissed off, but I didn't. Anyway, he says there's about 180 grand owing, and I'm going to discount that for you, which he did by about, I think, 70 grand, and which is phenomenal. I mean, how good is that? So then there's about 110 owing. No, sorry, there was about 120 owing. He must have discounted about 60,000. So there's 120 grand owing, and he says, I'm going to wipe that. It's end of financial year. I'm going to wipe it and as part of my business. So this man who had a debt of $180,000, had a bill, of $180,000, wiped it. I didn't pay a cent. I manifested that. I manifested it. I believed it was possible. I manifested it. And then guess what else I did? Then I had a wonderful second cousin who unfortunately passed away. And I remember thinking, well, not about my cousin, but I've lost 120, even though I didn't have to pay 180,000 extra, or even the 120,000 discounted. I've already paid 120 and I've lost that. And I should chase my ex-husband. He should pay that because he agreed in family law that he would, I can't think of the word, but he would pay my legals if anything happened. We had that as part of our agreement. So he should pay it. But unfortunately, the way the barrister wrote it, that's not how it read on paper. So I didn't have that avenue. And furthermore, taking him to court and knowing how he doesn't turn up would have just cost me a fortune. So anything I got back probably would have lost it. Anyway, so I decided I was going to forget about that. Okay, I've lost 120 grand. But getting back to my cousin who passed, he left me an inheritance of nearly 100 grand. So in my mind, I went, I've really only lost 20 grand. If I use that, think about that money as the money I've lost, I've really only lost out on about 20 grand. And I'm very grateful for my cousin for giving me that money. Sorry about that. Had a knock at the door. So I'm very grateful for my second cousin for that inheritance. I feel really lucky. I'm a very lucky girl. But I also know I manifested that as well. Because if I had have thought to myself, oh, I want to receive an inheritance. I want, I need. I wouldn't have got it. Something would have changed and I wouldn't have received that because there's other members of my family who didn't receive that. I mean, yes, you could say I was very close to him and, we hung out together at times, but I wasn't there for him in the end when he needed me. He wanted me to come and live with him and take care of him. And I didn't realize how sick he was. And I couldn't live with him in terms of move my son away from his school because he lived on the other side of Sydney. But anyway, that's going another tangent. So the point is, I know I manifested that. And I know I've manifested this great life that I feel like I'm in. And it's because I feel great. I am happy. And like there's days when I don't feel 100%. So I know I need to do some work on myself. There's days when I get shitty. And so then I think, what's going on here? I need to work on raising my vibration because I've learned that there's a different way to think than the way we've been raised. And we can be happy and we can have the lives we want. And yes, I guess what I've learned is you do have to struggle to get to that awareness. Life can be shit, but it doesn't have to stay that way. So reach out if I can help you, please, because I'd love to help. This is my passion. This is my true love.